Hi, welcome all to the channel Care for Careers. This discussion is around middle class parents pursuing how far they can pursue sports for their kids. I think sports is a, is a must for kids. Teaches a key aspect of life which nothing else teaches. One of the key aspect is, I think now the kids should learn is it's okay to lose. These days, kids take their losses very seriously, and even a kid who just started, I've observed during my last 6 years of coaching career, I felt that kids just started learning some sport. He started talking about his win or losses against the peers. Here I'm showing you legend Federer, how he talks about uh, what is the important part which in life one should learn from the sports. And one of the key aspect is telling that it's okay to lose and be humble in any of the wins you do. You keep your past losses and wins as past and just focus on the current game. So here is look at the video. Let's look at the video.
For graduating college in 2024. So I have a head start in answering the questions of what's next. Today, I want to share a few lessons I've relied on through this transition. Let's call them tennis lessons. I hope they will be useful in the world beyond Dartmouth. So here's the first. Effortless is a myth. I mean it. I say it as someone who has heard that word a lot. Effortless. People would say my play was effortless. Most of the time, they meant it as a compliment. But it used to frustrate me when they would say, you barely broke a sweat. Or is even trying. The truth is, I had to work very hard to make it look easy. I spent years whining, swearing, throwing my racket before I learned to keep my cool. The wake up call came early in my career when an opponent at the Italian Open publicly questioned my mental discipline. He said, Roger will be the favorite for the first 2 hours, then I'll be the favorite after that. I was puzzled at first, but eventually I realized what he was trying to say. Everybody can play well the first 2 hours. Fit, you're fast, you're clear, and after 2 hours, your legs get wobbly, your mind starts wandering, and your discipline starts to fade. It made me understand I have so much work ahead of me, and I'm ready to go on this journey. I get it. My parents, my coaches, my fitness coach, everyone had been calling me out. And now even my rivals were doing it. Players, thank you. I'm eternally grateful for what you did because you made me work harder. So I started to train harder, a lot harder actually. But then I realized winning effortlessly is the ultimate achievement. I got that reputation because my warm ups at the tournament were so casual that people didn't think I'd been training hard. But I had been working hard before the tournament when nobody was watching. Maybe you've seen a version of this at Dartmouth. How many times did you feel like your classmates were racking up A after A without even trying while you were pulling all-nighters? Loading up on caffeine maybe, or playing softly in a corner of Sanborn Library? Hopefully, like me, you learned that effortless is a myth. I didn't get where I got the pure talent alone. I got there by trying to outwork my opponents. I believed in myself, but belief in yourself has to be earned. There was a moment in 2003 when my self-belief really kicked in. I was at the ATP finals where only the best 8 players qualified, and I beat some of the top players I really admired by aiming right at their strength. Before, I would run away from their strength. Guy had a strong forehand. I would try to hit his backhand. But now I would try to go after his forehand. I tried to beat the baseliners from the baseline. I tried to beat the attackers by attacking and tried to beat the net rushers from the net. I took a chance by doing that. Why did I do it? To amplify my game and expand my options. You need a whole arsenal of strength. So if one of them breaks down, got something left. When your game is clicking like that, winning is easy, relatively. Then there are days when you just feel broken. Back hurts, your knee hurts, I've done a lot. Maybe you're a little sick or scared. but you still find a way to win. And those are the victories we can be most proud of, because they prove that you can win not just when you're at your best, but especially when you aren't. Yes, talent matters. I'm not going to stand here and tell you it doesn't. But talent has a broad definition. Most of the time, it's not about having a gift. It's about having grit. In tennis, a great forehand with sick racket head speed can be called a talent. But in tennis, like in life, discipline is also a talent. And so is patience. Trusting yourself is a talent. Embracing the process, loving the process is a talent. Managing your life, managing yourself, these can be talents too. Some people are born with them. Everybody has to work at them. From this day forward, some people are going to assume that because you graduated from Dartmouth, it's all going to come easy for you. And you know what? Let them believe that, as long as you don't. Okay, second lesson. It's only a point. Let me explain. You can work harder than you thought possible and still lose. I have many times. Tennis is brutal. There's no getting around the fact that every tournament ends the same way. One player gets a trophy, every other player gets back on a plane, stares out the window, and thinks, how the hell did I miss that shot? Imagine if today only one of you got a degree. Congratulations, this year's graduate. Let's give her a hand. The rest of you, the other 1,000 of you, better luck next time. So, you know, I tried not to lose, but I did lose, sometimes big. For me, one of the biggest was the finals at Wimbledon in 2008, me versus Nadal. Some call it the greatest match of all time. Okay, all respect to Rafa, but I think it would have been way, way better if I had won. Losing at Wimbledon was a big deal because winning Wimbledon is everything. Obviously, except winning that Dartmouth Master Pong title sophomore summer it is. I mean, I've gotten to play in some amazing venues around the world. But when you have the chance to walk onto center court at Wimbledon, the cathedral of tennis, and when you finish as the champion, you feel the magnitude of the moment, and there's nothing like it. In 2008, I was going for a record 6 consecutive title. I was playing for history. I'm not going to walk you through the match point by point. If we did, we would be here for hours, almost 5 hours to be exact. There were rain delays. The sun went down. Rafa won 2 sets. I won the next 2 sets, tie breaks, and we found ourselves at 7-all in the 5th. I understand why people focus on the end. Final minute is so dark I could barely see the chalk on the grass. But looking back, I feel like I lost at the very first point of the match. I looked across the net and I saw a guy who just a few weeks earlier crushed me, straight sets at the French Open. And I thought, this guy is maybe hungrier than I am. And he's finally got my number. It took me until the 3rd set before I remembered, hey buddy, you're the 5-time defending champion. And you're on grass, by the way. You know how to do this. But I came too late and Rafa won, and it was well deserved. Some defeats hurt more than others. I knew I would never get another shot at 6 in a row. I lost Wimbledon, I lost my #1 ranking, and suddenly people said that a great run is this the changing of the guard? But I knew what I had to do. Keep working, keep competing. In tennis, perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches. Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? Only 54%. In other words, even top-ranked tennis players win barely more than half of the points they play. When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted, it's only a point. Okay, I came to the net and I got passed again, it's only a point. Even a great shot, an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 playlist, that too is just a point. But here's why I'm telling you this. When you're playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next point after that. It's intensity, clarity, and focus. The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose a point, a match, a season, job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself and to feel sorry for yourself. But by the way, your opponents have self-doubt too. Don't ever forget that. The negative energy is wasted energy. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, a sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, cry it out if you need to, and then force a smile. Move on, be relentless, adapt and grow, work harder, work smarter. Remember, work smarter. Lesson 3. Are you guys still with me? For a
And so, yeah, especially for the kids here, he very smartly you puts in that you're gonna have losses, you're gonna have job loss, you're gonna have some downturn in your life. All you need to do is get up and start working harder, and that's the only way of. So that's the one important thing with sports teaches is okay to lose.
for a guy who left school at 16, this is a lot of lessons as well for me too. So here's the third one. Life is bigger than the court. A tennis court is a small space, 2,106 square feet to be exact. That's for singles matches. Not much bigger than a dorm room. Okay, make that 3 or 4 dorm rooms in Mass Row. I worked a lot, learned a lot, and ran a lot of miles in that small space. But the world is a whole lot bigger than that. Even when I was just starting out, I knew that tennis could show me the world, but tennis could never be the world. I knew that if I was lucky, maybe I could play competitively until my late 30s, maybe even 41. But even when I was in the top 5, it was important to me to have a life, a rewarding life, full of travel, culture, friendships, and especially family. I never abandoned my roots. I never forgot where I came from. But I also never lost my appetite to see the very big world. I left home at 14 to go to school in the French part of Switzerland for 2 years, and I was horribly homesick at first, but learned to love a life on the move. But these are the reasons I never burned out, maybe. I was excited to travel the world,